Born March 5, 1947, George Paul grew up on the family ranch in San Miguel, Mexico, surrounded by cowboys and visions of the Wild West. The second of 4 children, George always wanted to be a cowboy. His love of rodeo was largely spurred by the television show Stony Burke, loosely based on the life of rodeo great Casey Tibbs. George began his journey to rodeo greatness when he joined the American Junior Rodeo Association in 1961 at the age of 14. His AJRA career would be highlighted with the World Championship bull riding title in 1965, followed by a World Champion title in bareback, as well as the all-around title in 1966. Also during his time with the American Junior Rodeo Association, George would attend a rodeo school held by the legendary Jim Shoulders. He would later call that experience the most beneficial of his rodeo career. George went pro in 1966 when he joined the Rodeo Cowboys Association. He would spend the remainder of the '66 season adapting to the ins and outs of being a professional cowboy. George would learn which rodeos were the best to enter and, most importantly to him, how to travel between the rodeos the fastest in order to enter more contests. Being a pilot allowed him to travel to rodeos quicker and enter more events. Traveling to the majority of rodeos by plane allowed him to enter up to 3 rodeos per day. 1967 would mark George's first full year on the circuit. It would also mark his first appearance at the National Finals Rodeo. George would finish the year by covering 7 of 9 bulls and leave Oklahoma City ranked the 4th best bull rider in the world at the young age of 20. He picked up his already frantic pace in 1968 by competing in over 150 rodeos. He would typically compete in both the bareback and bull riding, but when pressed for time, he would stick strictly to the bulls. Nearing the mid-season mark of 1968, people began buzzing about the phenom from Del Rio and how it seemed that no bull could throw him. Heading into the 1968 National Finals, George had the bull riding title all but locked up. The competing class of top 15 riders included legends Gary LeFew, Freckles Brown, and Sandy Kirby. Also in the top 15 that year were future Texas Cowboy Hall of Famers Murtis Steitman and Larry Mahan. Going into the first round, George had successfully ridden 79 bulls in a row, a record that no one has ever come close to surpassing. His first go-round matchup would be against Howard Harris's famed bull, Cowtown. George's incredible streak would end with Cowtown. He was knocked out and bucked off after colliding heads with the bull. Down but not out, he would come right back and cover his 8 remaining bulls. His road to the title would be a tough one. He had to cover some of the rankest bulls, including Jim Shoulders' Typhoon, who was unridden in 3 years, and Steiner's horrible number 107, ridden only once in 6 years. The rankest of all would be George's final bull, Butler Brothers number 27. This bull was said to be so fierce that it had to be drug into the chute with a chain around its horns by a tractor. George would ultimately take home the 1968 World Championship bull riding title, and he would also win the average title that year. George took the 1969 season off to help his family at their million-acre ranch in Mexico. He resumed his rodeo career in 1970. His young rodeo career would be cut tragically short on August 1, 1970. A rancher in southwestern Wyoming would discover the wreckage of George's twin-engine plane. He'd been traveling between rodeos when the crash occurred. Fellow Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame inductee Don Gay has called George Paul the greatest natural bull rider of all time. George's great bull riding legacy continues today through the hard work of his family and friends. Led by his brother Bobby, the George Paul Memorial Bull Riding is in its 35th year of production. Held in Del Rio, Texas, the CBR-sanctioned event is the oldest continual bull riding in the world and a true family operation. CBR president and Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame inductee Tuff Hedeman is a 3-time winner of the George Paul Memorial Bull Riding. Other winners include Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame's own Lane Frost, Cody Lambert, and Jim Sharp. George Paul's great bull riding legacy will continue to inspire young cowboys for generations to come. 2012 Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame inductee, George Paul.